In the United Kingdom, a major shift is unfolding the migration patterns, and the latest data reveals a striking reversal that is already reshaping the political and economic debates across the country. According to the Office of National Statistics, around 51,000 Indians who had moved to the UK for studies in 2025, well, another 21,000 Indians who came for work also existed, well, along with around 3,000 others. Well, the Chinese nationals followed closely, with tens of thousands all leaving together. And at the same time, Britain's net migration has fallen sharply to 171,000 in 2025, down to 331,000 the previous year. And even more significantly, it has dropped nearly 82% on its peak from 2023. The total long-term immigration into the UK now stands around 831,000 in a year. And a clear pattern is emerging now. Non-European workers-related migration has fallen almost 47%. And officials say that this is the main driver behind the overall decline. But you know what? Here is where the story becomes more complex. Despite the higher departures, Indians still dominate the several key UK visa categories. Over 107,000 healthcare workers and their visa extensions were issued to Indians, and nearly 90,000 skilled worker extensions went to Indian nationals only. And yet, the student system, Indians remain the largest receiving graduate route and the extension to the sponsored routes of the visa studies. So, the question is not just who is leaving, but why this movement is increasing in both directions in the same time. And this is what changes everything. Because this is not just simply a story of, the exit. It is a story of tightening the entry, shifting the opportunities, and then changing a long-term expectations around the UK as a destination. Now, the United Kingdom government has gradually tightened the immigration rules over the past few years. The policies introduced under the previous Conservative government and continued under the current Labour leadership have made it harder for the many fewer workers, basically the foreign workers and the students, to remain long-term inside the country. Officials argue that the goal is to control the sustainability, but critics say that the result is sharp and high in contradiction in the arrivals that could impact the labour markets. However, the layer underneath is the policy debate. Britain is facing the growing political pressure over the immigration. Parties like Reform UK have now capitalized on the vote to concerns over public service, housing, and job competition. And that pressure is now shaping the mainstream policies, the decisions in real time. But there's another flashpoint. Economists warn that while the lower migration may ease the political pressure, it could also deepen the labor shortages in healthcare, technology, and the service sectors. Now, in other words, the UK may be trading economic flexibility for the political flexibility. And yet, something else is happening quietly in the background. The application for the British citizenship have hit the record highs. One more migrant choosing to secure the permanent status earlier and now participating in the future restrictions. And at the same time, even the British and the European nationals have continued to leave in the large numbers. So what looks like a simple drop in the immigration is actually a deeper restructuring of the mobility itself. Not just the fewer people coming in, but a recalibration of who stays, who leaves, and who choose to settle permanently. With that is the real shift time in unfolding. Because beneath the statistics, the UK is not just reducing the migration numbers, it is redefining what migration to Britain actually means. And yes, what effects of the decisions are also beginning to surface.